Okay, so I'm gonna continue. This is part two. The camera stopped probably because I need to make more room. So part two, June 23rd, 2022. So nonetheless, I was telling her, I said, what you're probably smelling is the Palo Santo oil, and it's like, to me, she was, and I didn't feel offended on Tuesday when she said it, because because it was to me, it was general conversation, that scent in your hair, what is it? Because she could have talked to me about it, whatever, but she made it seem like it was my hygiene. I told her it was not my hygiene. But she said, by next week you got to have it taken care of, your hygiene. She mentioned clothes, and I said, and that's when I started explaining to her how many uniform shirts and jackets I have, and so forth. And then she cut me off, and then Phyllis, the manager, in reference to the Palo Santo oil. So let me demonstrate what I do. So once again, I use what I buy from Whole Foods. This is plant lotion, coconut oil, and I put some salt, some Palo Santo, and then I fill it, put lotion, and then I mix it all up, and I put it in my hair. And I've been doing it. I've done it so many times before. And once again, I used to wear a bracelet, soaked in Palo Santo, and then in my hair. But the bracelet broke. Both bracelets broke. Sometimes I'll have two. I think I did wear two. All I know is I used to wear them to earn money. Wear them when I went to go earn money lots of times, and they broke. So, but no one never said, what is that scent that I can remember, or you stink, or anything like that. So I was so surprised. Today, when she was like, she told me, she said, you gotta go, and she implied that through her body language that she was like, the smell was making her sick or something. And once again, I was telling Money, and I'm not saying Phyllis. First of all, I'm not saying anyone at Burger King is unnatural, unclean, in reference to an abomination of artificial intelligence or anything like that. I'm not saying anyone that earn money at Burger King is that way, or that's connecting Burger King in that manner in reference to a paycheck is unnatural, artificial intelligence, and a laboratory experiment. I'm not saying that. I'm not accusing them of that. But this is what I'm demonstrating is what led me to get Palo Santo oil. Palo Santo oil, when I was reading on it, is indigenous to South America, and many shamans use Palo Santo oil. So in reference to spirituality and cleansing, and Palo Santo oil, I thought was great when I first got it. And it helped me. The oil was just a natural euphoric feeling that I felt. So and it's hard to sometimes, not hard, but it can be a challenge to articulate. But frankincense, lavender, let me think, myrrh, other oils. Many oils are really, really good when you burn them or place them on your body, in reference to mental balance, spiritual balance, alchemy, and so forth, to maintain a balance mentally and spiritually, and like crystals, gems, and stones. Excuse me. So and so I was telling Money, Palo Santo oil is very, very, very potent in reference to protection against unclean, filthy, unnatural abomination spirits. It really is, because when I started using it years ago, and I would wear it a lot, I knew there was a difference in how I felt when the mental and spiritual engagements and so forth. how I was able to handle them, Islam. So that's what brought me back to using it again, and I'm putting it in my hair and so forth. So once again, I'm not accusing Phyllis, James, Thomas, Christina, Jed, Naomi, her brother Dylan, Dora, Hamima, Lorena, all the people I work with, so many of them, Christina, so you know, staff, the new employees, none of them are being unnatural, unclean, abomination, laboratory freaks or laboratory experiments or artificial intelligence. I'm not. This is what, but I am demonstrating why Islam Sheikh Dwayne by forbade my Moorish American nation and family. Why I got it. And I was trying to tell her, Phyllis, that I've awarded so many times before. What changed this time? And once again, the reason why I got it and I tried it out, I wasn't sure. I read up on it, and then I tried. I practiced it. Practice the spirituality, not just go by word for mouth. I'm giving you what I experienced. And so when I would experience different forms of mental engagements in reference to unclean, filthy, abomination spirits, it was like my force field was higher, and I was able to handle what I was experiencing much better. Islam. And I felt definitely my frequency rise. Islam. So that was one of the reasons why. But that was one of the reasons why years ago, no one didn't say it stunk or anything like that. So I was just surprised, just very surprised. So even yesterday, because of what she said Tuesday, yesterday was Wednesday, the 22nd, I told Imani, I said, because when I came in, it rained yesterday, and I got caught in the rain, and the clothes, and I was like, okay, Imani, not only that's one of the reasons why, but there was another reason why. But I didn't tell Imani what happened. But it did rain yesterday, and because it rained yesterday, I was like, okay, Imani, do you mind washing my clothes? I didn't tell Imani what happened. I didn't tell her what was said, because I said, can you wash my clothes for me? Wash up clothes. He's off for 3 days. He chose to use his vacation hours. He has quite a few vacation hours, so he chose to use them and take a few days off. He said, okay. So he washed my clothes, and then I went back into work. Yesterday, I worked with Thomas and James. I didn't work with Phyllis yesterday. Tuesday, I worked with Phyllis. So, today, I worked with Phyllis again. And 10:45, she started demonstrating like it was like this, like it was a smell. Once again, yesterday with my clothes washed, I put on the clean clothes, you know, do my ritual like I always do, take a shower, you know, take care of myself. She's you know, she made it seem like she was feeling sick, like by the smell of me, and she said, you gotta go. And I said, Phyllis, I warned this so many times before, and she was like, you can't stay on the clock or somewhat. She was just saying and implying that I gotta go, and she clocked me out. I said, oh, you know, she clocked me out at 10:45 a.m. So my schedule was from 10 to 4. She clocked me out. I didn't clock out. Thomas was like, just go, telling me to go ahead and leave. You know, and because Thomas was on the floor when this happened, he came. You know, once again, I was just surprised. Thomas is another manager. I was just surprised that that the smell once again was so potent to her, because I warned it. I've had it on so many times before, so many times. I can't tell you how many times I've done this way of twisting my hair and so forth. It's been that many times, or just putting it in my hair. I can't tell you, it's been that many times. So I might not have, and I think I misquoted. I might not have brought over and over, like, because you don't need much of this. You don't need much of this. So I might not have brought a lot of these, but I brought I definitely use them. You don't need much of the Palo Santo oil at all. Let me think here. So let me finish. So once again, she was like, she told me Tuesday, by next week, if you don't have your hygiene or something, that you won't be able to work. She said next week, but today when I came in and I worked with her, she was like, she clocked me out. So I don't know. So that's what I experienced today. It was something else I wanted to speak about. Oh, I've been watching the movie The Motherland, and what I find interesting is, in reference to The Motherland, because she doing I first found out about this movie was years ago. You talked about it. I remember you was speaking about how possibly the stars on the United States flag are demonstrating some form of witchery. Okay, and so you were speaking about the motherland. So I find what's so interesting about that is that one of the main characters is an African American lady, a girl and her mother, and they're from Annapolis, Maryland. So the motherland is about it has like I think 3 or 4 seasons of it. So it's been on TV for a while, and you talked about it when it first came out. I had no idea what I don't know. You know, you talked about other movies too, and I'm just now watching them. So and I'm like, that is interesting what he was talking about. So the main character, one of the main characters, is an African American girl and her mother, who are have a line of witchery, who are from Annapolis. Well, she said, I'm from Annapolis, Maryland, by the way of New York. And so the motherland are about these witches that are in the army that have I guess you want to say, in their words, sworn to defend the United States of America, and because they use it in the word United States of America, and also they demonstrated them reading parts of the Constitution and defending and protecting the citizens. They are witches that are trained to help protect the civilians, okay? And they are in the army. And so what I find interesting is, because when she was like saying, she said she was from Annapolis, Maryland, by the way of New York. And I was like, why, and it connect. I was like, yeah, because the Army base is here. The Army base and the Naval Academy is here in Annapolis. And so here I am speaking about spirituality and being among unclean spirits. If you watch the movie, that's what it's about. You're dealing with a lot of different forms of sciences and ancient sciences in reference to and everything that has life. In my thought process is spirit. So you deal with they showing different ancient sciences in a manner that can be comprehended to those who are not completely aware of these ancient sciences. Like they use the science of sound. I found and they speak about the chakra, what they say vocal cords, but we know this is the throat chakra, right? So once again, this is a movie, okay? Movies are movies. They create a form of reality for those a fantasy. But what movies can do, what I realize, is show different forms of truth, but you have to know truth in order to see the truth of what they're talking about. Otherwise, you actually can take it for face value. So these witches, once again, they are trained they definitely show the United States flag, that they are demonstrating they are trained to uphold or uphold constitutional laws, trained, they're in the army, trained to defend and protect the innocent, the civilians, and so forth. They are demonstrating they are at war, and this is what they're supposed to do against those that are against the country, against the United States of America, which they are implying they are for the Constitution, Islam. So, but what I find more so interesting right now, and I just finished the first season, is how they're demonstrating sound. They also demonstrated they demonstrated how unclean spirits can engage with your entire sheath and cause you to move. They call it puppeteering. So what happened was this general commander was about to be fired, and she didn't want to be fired, and she has lived over 200 years. She doesn't even eat solid food anymore, according to this movie. But because she behaved outside of what was considered lawful in reference to the army of witches, the president wanted to fire her. She used they call it ancient science of puppeteering to control the president's will, her thoughts, or her and what she was doing, her voice, or her how she speaks, to not fire her. So once again, they call it puppeteering. They say you're not supposed to do that. It's a bad thing to do according to this movie. But this is what is going on a day-to-day basis with unclean spirits. And in my thought process, that had a telepathic code. Unclean, unnatural spirits. So they invade the sheath, and then you think, so what happens is once they invade your sheath, they think after a while they're going to somehow possess you enough where when the physical body approach you, Islam, smiling, the black Negro male, that's unclean, filthy in spirit, not all, smiling, with a funky spirit, a nasty spirit, they think one day, they think you're going to be like, brother, you know, you are so, you so righteous. You so good. You're so righteous. Or it could be an African-American female that's unclean and unnatural in spirit. Not all. Same thing. Invading the sheath. Invading your son's sheath. You know, I can't tell you how many times I've felt a spirit on me. And it's like, okay, let me realize why I walked a certain way. Why did I speak a certain way? Why did my voice change? So I'm studying myself, because everything is spiritual. We're among spirits. We're among unclean, filthy, unnatural spirits. And in my thought process, those that had a telepathic code. So this movie, Motherland, demonstrates how this form of invasion. But also in reference to sound, what they demonstrating is how sound, music, frequency raises your frequency. It also demonstrates how if you loses a certain frequency, you can also lower your frequency, or loses a certain sound. So anyways, that's the first season. That's what I picked up on so far. I think it's a very good movie so far, even though some of it was a little bit too sexual. But it was, once again, they were demonstrating how sex is a way to, when it's used and harmonized with righteously. They're not demonstrating this in the movie, okay? But they're demonstrating is sex gives you some form of power, like many movies in reference, because it's a movie. You know, they're doing a different form or low realm thought process. But those that have higher thoughts know that when you harmonize in that manner with sex on a high frequency, it's supposed to raise your frequency and raise your thought process. It's not supposed to be beast, animal level, okay? That's not how sex is supposed to be used. But you know, once again, it's a movie. So yeah, so one of the main characters are from Annapolis, Maryland, and she's an African American. And so anyway, my other thought process came to me. It was like, now in truth, now here's a movie, because it's in the first, I think it was the first part of the first season. She said, I'm from Annapolis, Maryland, by the way, in New York. When she was, then I watched, I was like, here I am in Annapolis, and I have definitely experienced African Americans saying, we paid, brother paid, brother love you, she love your son. So as I have gone back and forth demonstrating truth, because see, movies, they show a form of what truth can be and what truth is if you have the eyes to see. But here, so you look at it like, oh, look at that, they're showing witches, witches, witchcraft. But truth is, when you're dealing with truth, I think you realize you accept what truth really is and what you are among. And so, and on the physical plane, I definitely, this is not just spiritual and mentally. I mean, too many times African American males and females, accents, or just when I'm out, say I paid and look at me. Females and males, brother paid. To see a movie, who are in, and so when you hear that, that someone is demonstrating or implying that they paid for someone, okay, who is demonstrating or implying to be African American, at least that's what it looks to be, have African American accent, demonstrating themselves to be African American, so forth. And the history of what they demonstrate. In Annapolis, for instance, have the slave port. Alex Haley found his descendants here. They said, or some more said, they found his descendants when he looked for it. The circuit courts had his family labeled with the chattel property, with the cows, the dogs, and other forms of livestock. So this is in Annapolis, Maryland. So when you so in reference to truth of what you're among, and knowing that we are among unclean spirits who have always demonstrated themselves to be unclean, not just unclean but unnatural. We're among artificial intelligence. It makes you really just look at certain movies and you just sort of just take it as face value, especially when you're in the city that they're talking about. Because even the character in the movie, she also says, she speaks, I think she spoke of something about slavery, or she said in reference to slavery, she brought, if I remember correctly, in the first part of season 1, she brought up, I think, if I remember correctly, I'll go back and see possibly when I have time, she brought up slavery. And, Annapolis, once again, has a history of that, like many places on this landmass. So I found that very, very much interesting. The Army bases here, the Naval, and a lot of odd behavior I've experienced. It has been in connection to those that imply to be connected to the United States military, or are connected to the United States military. And I always use the word unnaturalized because you're supposed to be naturalized. They're supposed to be naturalized to uphold laws of freedom. The U.S.A. Constitution of 1787. The 13th Amendment with 20 sections, which states in Section 19, all men are forever free. Ratified November the 18th, 1865. And all 4 of Abraham Lincoln's proclamations. So when I hear spirits, whether they could be pale skinned, it has been predominantly blacks or African Americans, especially saying brother paid, and Spanish speaking, a lot of Spanish speaking, saying they sold you accents, or say it as they look at me when I'm out, so forth. These are forms of witchery. It's a form of witchery. It really is. If you allow it to be a low realm beast witchery, Islam. That's all it is to it. So it's not all that say the word paid and brother, are unnatural. I can't say that, but there has been too many Islam in Annapolis, Maryland. It is June the 23rd, 2022. Is there anything else I want to say? I don't think so. So I put regular lotion in my hair. now. So hopefully it'll be okay for tomorrow. This is what I was using. I mixed it up really nice and even. You know, I don't need much of this. Okay. So, but I just used lotion in my hair just a little while ago. So I truly don't, once again, I don't understand. She clocked me out, Phyllis, the manager. And once again, getting back, I always say this now, November 2020 is when I found out her husband retired from the Navy, and I'm only going by what I heard her say out loud, speaking to a lady who I thought was in connection to the police department, but later I saw a license plate similar to what she has, and it looks like the fire department, not the police department, but I could be wrong, you know. But that's what it looked like. I thought it was the police fraternal order, but later I looked at other license plates that looked exactly like the one she had, and she also was at the post office when I was sending Burger King Corporation a letter about what I was experiencing in reference to hearing Thomas say Mo and some other uncleans, the voids, them not want me to sign the voids anymore, and so forth. I also sent information to my Moorish American National Republic, Baltimore, Maryland, on Calvert Street letter, and she was there. And she asked me about Phyllis as I was outside, and then she told me to shut up, like Phyllis would tell me in front of the customers. So I think she was driving a car that has the police. I just recently saw a license plates that looked similar to hers, but I thought it was, fire department license.